Hi friends, it's your pal Scott, and today we're going to talk about how the failure of Daggerheart really changes the future, should absolutely change the future for Dungeons and Dragons, and how Dungeons and Dragons now has opportunities it really never had prior to Daggerheart's failure. All right, so first of all, let's talk about the term Daggerheart's failure. You Everybody gets to decide, okay? You can buy this. I think there's going to be some revisionism happening. I think it's already starting to happen from the community as well as the creators about what Daggerheart was meant to be. I believe without a doubt Daggerheart was meant from day one to be a D&D killer. It was announced in the D&D killer window. Tales of Valiant, Draw Steel, and Daggerheart were all announced in right after the January 2023 OGL crisis. Then it was built as a D&D killer. If you look at Daggerheart, I purchased Daggerheart this year, right? That thing is a banger, right? Like, it's got a really nice cover. It had great components. It's a very, very nice hardback. This thing was built to beat D&D, right? And then this is the biggest one. This is the biggest reason I believe Daggerheart was always meant to be a D&D killer. Was the campaign for Wait, right? CR specifically waited, in my humble opinion, to see Daggerheart come out of the gate, to see the response, not just the response of the community, but their response to the community. Right, CR's response to the community, the TTRPG community loved Daggerheart. The problem is, CR could not meet demand. They couldn't print and distribute. They just could not. And I think that's when they knew they were cooked. They were like, oh, well, we built the right game. People want it, but we can't get it to them. And it's not just going to be hard work now; it's going to be hard work forever. Right? That's another thing. Is I really think this came down to the real math that was done here. Is they're like, hey, we can work a regular 9 to 5, air quotes, and go home every day and make millions, or we can grind 80 hours a week for a 25% chance that we knock Dungeons and Dragons off the hill. It was simple math, I think, for CR. They just didn't want to do the work, and it was going to take a ton of work to grind, to tooth and claw up that hill. It would have been really hard. So what's interesting is, so here now we land on the other side with Daggerheart. Daggerheart's failure has made a massive opportunity for D&D. D&D has been extremely careful. So what have they done that's been careful? Did you know that TSR at one point had like 600 employees? And like a bunch of them were driving company cars. They did all kinds of stuff, right? But Hasbro has been keeping the team very lean and keeping the costs very down, right? Another thing they did is they're like, just D&D. Do not take your freaking eye off the ball. Stay focused, right? Like, don't do like, and you could see this, right? Hasbro owns Power Rangers, G.I. Joe, My Little Pony, all of them, right? They don't do the tabletop role-playing games for any of them, right? They farm that stuff out, right? Because they're like, we cannot take our eye off the ball. Well, what I'm saying is, and so this is the first thing that I think Daggerheart's failure does, is it tells D&D, you guys are way safer and way stronger than you have ever been. Critical Role just told the entire world, you could be celebrity millionaires. You could build a game that is blowing off the shelves. You still cannot compete with Dungeons and Dragons. That is a mighty, powerful, unmitigated statement to the entire industry that D&D is strong and ready. And the biggest thing I think they should do is they should go and not, and get this, they don't need to take any bandwidth from the TTRPG industry. What they could do is they could take real IPs, and not just their own, but IPs out in the world and do something truly special with it, with these IPs. What they can do is they can say, okay, first of all, we're going to sell these with the D&D engine. So basically, we're going to launch these as freestanding tabletop role-playing games, and we're going to tell people, hey, come on in, try these other tabletop role-playing games. It's the D&D engine. You don't have to learn anything new. This is built from the ground up, right? The rules engine is D&D. You already know how to play D&D. Now use it for, and they can use it for so many things, right? They can, they just connected. MTG is canon to D&D. D&D is canon to MTG. There are now the Office Magic cards. You could do a tabletop role-playing game for the Office, right? Bring in a completely new tabletop role-playing game type of person. People who are not playing tabletop role-playing games right now because it's not connected to IPs they care about, right? But this could be huge. And so one of the things I think is D&D needs to really kind of understand how powerful they are and what a massive win this is. This is really a huge, massive win, the likes of which we haven't seen in a long time. Dungeons & Dragons should really use this to say we can do a lot more than we're doing right now. Let's realize who we are and let's go to the next level. Daggerheart's failure is a catapulting springboard for D&D, in my humble opinion. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing and have a fetch millennium.